Hello and a very big warm welcome back to the channel. Once again, you're joining me for a review of CRO Crypto.com coin CRONOS. Now, I'm on a journey of maximizing my portfolio in all aspects of life, and I guess you may be on a similar journey too, so thank you for tuning back into the channel, and let's jump straight into a bit of analysis on Crypto.com coin. So we're looking at about a $4 billion market cap. It's been at that level for the first time in a while. Now, if you saw my recent video, we deep dived into these statistics along with volume. Volume is good for a crypto. Higher volume means higher levels of trading, ultimately more demand as well. With supply not increasing, would see a price rise. So in CRONOS' case right now, of course, there is a lot more supply to come in over the years. It's currently locked away after the recently vested issues. But the main determining factor, like any asset, is if demand is high enough, then price is going to go up. And over the last 7 days, demand has been higher than the supply out there, and thus the price has gone up. If you take a look at the order books, there's been a lot more buys than sells. Over on the right-hand side, you see a bit of news around what people are saying, what people are thinking, some technical analysis. It's always hard to deep dive and truly understand. This is quite interesting though. Again, make CRONOS great again. Why are people doing that? Because Crypto.com, Chris, who is the CEO of Crypto.com, and Trump in many ways, have a sort of partnership whereby Trump Media is buying Bitcoin, they're creating an ETF, and it's all going through the likes of what seems to be Chris and Crypto.com. Now, Chris met with Trump a while ago when there was all that price action, and I personally believe, and I'm not a financial advisor, so nothing I say or do can be taken as financial advice, please always do your own research, that this deal had something to do with that unburn of Crypto.com coin CRO. The unburn was a very tough time for all of the CRO users, but I believe for the greater picture, the bigger picture, it had something to do with this. This is huge. Trump buys 2 million of Bitcoin, massive in general, using Crypto.com as a sort of facilitator or a mediator or a partner at the same time. So this is huge news, and this is a massive catalyst without the ETF currently even being approved of to why CRONOS has gone up in a month almost 50%, which is pretty nifty indeed. So there's still a long way to climb, I think. If you're going to go back up to all-time highs, you know, $0.9 was the all-time high for CRONOS back in the last bull run in 2021. So yeah, some interesting news there about Chris helping with that. I think that's worthy of a separate video, a mass catalyst for demand in general. Now, the closer you have network ties, the closer, you know, your reputation of the crypto is going to go up and so on, which is pretty interesting. And then there was a small recap of stuff that's come out with Crypto.com recently. And the reason why I want to mention this is because you look at factors that can increase the demand for a coin or anything that increases the use cases of Crypto.com. Often as a byproduct, CRO will be utilized and purchased. And so the more people that use the app, the more people that have the Visa card, the more people that are functionally using Crypto.com, then, you know, the more demand there's going to be for CRO. And I think that is where we can currently really add value to the Crypto.com ecosystem, is where how much can we tie the use of Crypto.com to the use of CRO? It's the biggest question that everybody always has for Chris, our CEO. He says, just commit, man, make CRO so interlinked to the platform that every time the platform is used and grows, that Crypto.com coin CRO goes flying. But that is the main problem. How much of Crypto.com's ecosystem is connected to the price of CRO, is connected to CRO in general? So that is the main thing that I think if I, as somebody who holds CRO, as a disclaimer, again, not a financial advisor, I would like to see that if we double in users, that Crypto.com thus has an impact on CRO, because Coinbase stock is flying, absolutely flying, whereas exchange cryptos like CRO haven't flown as much as they should have done. So Bitcoin has absolutely rocketed up in the last few years. You know, you're looking at a 6 times from where you invested back in 2023 after the 2021 bull run, which is insane. And you also have the likes of very similar patterns continuing to form. 2 double peaks and then a downward trend. 2 double peaks, downward trend. However, I digress. They're always connected. Bitcoin is connected to ETH. ETH is connected to CRONOS. There's always a subtle pattern, and that's undeniable within the likes of the crypto space. But I do think Bitcoin is that gold, that digital asset that is, you know, the standard by which all cryptos follow. So it's very interesting to see that as well. Now, if you take a look at the Crypto.com website, I always find it quite interesting to see what they're promoting the most. It's all about transfer funds to buy crypto, cybersecurity and privacy top accreditors, and over 140 million users worldwide now. That number is growing at an insane level, which is why for me, when I see the price of crypto.com coin, CRO, I go, there's so much more untapped potential. It's why I'm such an avid sort of a researcher on this topic, is because I think we've gone from 50 million to 140 million users in the last few years. But if I look at the price of crypto.com coin over the last, let's say since 2022, it has barely changed. But apparently we've gone from 50 million users, if not more, to 140 million. 90 million additional users has to create additional value, which is where, once again, the one thing I say is clearly there's a lot of activity, but the one question mark is how much demand is there for CRO based on your activity on the crypto.com app? And that is the real area for improvement. And if it does improve, fantastic. If it doesn't, I am slightly concerned. There's also the whole idea of, we can scroll down and see the exchanges traded. Coinbase, Upbit, Crypto.com exchange is not the main trading platform for volume when it comes to, volume when it comes to the likes of CRO. However, Binance is a market that is currently not listing CRO. Competition, yes, every other market is, but a listing could be a potential catalyst for the price to go up once again, because it just unlocks a brand new marketplace and so on. So overall, my analysis of crypto.com CRO coin today is very positive news, I think, for the crypto itself. I think Chris has added some new features that hopefully increase usage and engagement, but that usage and engagement has to be backed up by a correlation between CRO and crypto.com, the app. If there's no correlation, then ultimately, sadly, there is no point. I am not a financial advisor. I am just on a journey to maximize my personal wealth, and I love hearing your opinions about the crypto. I love hearing everything you say, but it's been my pleasure to once again talk to my community and you guys out there. And you can see a lot of support, staking too much. I've done that before in my life. I staked too much, it peaked, I couldn't sell it. CRO, 100K, that is a big bag. Happy with 0.3, that will be a solid and reasonable target, I think, given the crypto market. But I am very, very cautious of just how high Bitcoin is and how aggressively it can fall, and that given that Bitcoin has risen massively, it could fall massively. And I'm talking about going, from 63,000 to 16. That is, times 3, divide by 3 sort of drop. 3 times of a drop. If Bitcoin does that now, the altcoins without a pump will be absolutely wrecked. And so it's going to be a very, very interesting time to see what happens over the next few weeks. But take care, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in.